to night number 67 of History Bedtime Stories in bed, in our pajamas. Tonight is a mystery for me solved. I showed this postcard on a bedtime story last week talking about Cadillac Square. And when you look at the postcard, you see the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, the surrounding buildings, a couple of streetcars down here in the corner. But then do you see this little red blob? That strange little red tombstone or monument that's just there in the middle of the boulevarded green? That blob has been driving me nuts for a week. I've been trying to figure out what the heck that red blob is, why it was in Cadillac Square, and where it went. And I am thrilled to say, mystery solved, and it's tonight's bedtime story. It starts at the bicentennial of the city of Detroit. 1901, we're approaching 200 years since the city was founded by the French under Antoinette de la Mothe Sieur de Cadillac. And at the time, City Council, along with the mayor, proposed a $1 million. $1 million in 1901. It's about $85 million today. $1 million monument created out on Belle Isle, our city park in the river, to honor and celebrate 200 years of the city of Detroit. They envision this massive 24-foot wide, 224-foot tall marble pillar. At the top, an eternal flame carved into the marble itself, different reliefs of moments in Detroit history and famous citizens. And this thing was huge, it was expensive, and when the tax-paying citizens heard about it, they were not thrilled. They're going, no. $1 million is a lot of money. We don't need to spend $1 million on a monument. And they really vocally oppose it. So much so that city council and elected officials wanting to be reelected are like, whoa, we'll come up with a compromise. And you gotta love a compromise that starts at $1 million and ends at $1,500. Because for the bargain basement price of $1,500, they make the red blob in this postcard. They create the Chair of Justice, also called Cadillac's Chair. Now, the Chair of Justice, or Cadillac's Chair, is created for $1,500, about $40,000 in today's money. From the Detroit Free Press archives, you can actually see this image shows the front of the chair, emblazoned with the seal of Cadillac himself. On the back of the chair is an inscription that reads, "This chair, erected July 24th, 1901, is located on the site of the City Hall, built 1835 and occupied until 1871 as the seat of civic authority. It is symbolic of the rule of Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac, Knight of St. Louis, who with his company of colonists arrived in Detroit July 24th, 1701, on that day under the patronage of King Louis and protected by the French flag, the city of Detroit, then called Fort Pontchartrain, was founded." Now the chair itself is made of kind of a brick red color sandstone. It is slightly larger than life, but it turns out to be pretty darn comfortable. And vagrants, kids playing hooky from school smoking cigarettes, drunkards falling asleep in the street would often find themselves a cuddly little place to curl up on Cadillac's chair. City Council hated this. They hated it even more because it was in such a prominent part of Detroit. And for a monument once hailed as being important, a milestone in Detroit's history, a monument that will stand for generations, 40 years after it's erected, City Council sends out workers with sledgehammers to take it down. Now, sandstone had been a mistake in construction material. It was shaling, it was crumbling, it wasn't looking good, having survived 40 Michigan winters and summer thaws. And between that and vagrants, City Council just wasn't having it. The chair was literally destroyed with sledgehammers, and although at the time there was some talk about pieces being saved, none have ever been found or resurfaced, so it's pretty safe to say that those limestone chunks ended up somewhere in a landfill. Today we remember Cadillac's chair, partly because it pops up in some old postcards, and partly because it truly is a beautiful monument that just didn't last. I hope you are enjoying History Bedtime Stories. If you are, do me the biggest favor in the world and like and share these videos. And if you tag a friend down in the comment section, we'll enter you into a contest to win a whole bunch of Detroit vinyl stickers later on this week. Wash your hands. We'll see you tomorrow night.